Wadhwani Foundation would like to welcome you all for this webinar and also introduce our experts, Mr. Asghar Ahmed and Ms. Sujya Rao from NEN. Asghar, as Director of NEN, heads NEN's Entrepreneurship Capacity Building Group, which is helping develop the capacity of over 450 academic institutions to create, educate and support high-growth entrepreneurs. Additionally, he leads NEN's incubation and innovation programs that will be helping building advanced infrastructure for high potential entrepreneurship on selected campuses. Certified entrepreneurship educator, Asghar is passionate about working with early stage and student entrepreneurs. Sujya has over 25 years of experience mainly in the education domain, spirited about entrepreneurship and in the process of setting up her own consultancy. She has also been the part of Wadhwani Foundation team over 9 years. At NEN, she was instrumental in launching over 250 entrepreneurship cells across the country and most recently launched the global market at Malaysia, Indonesia and Pakistan. She has graduation of bachelor's degree in commerce and has completed a course in human resource management and industrial psychology from Indian Institute of Technology, Madras. Before I hand over the session to Asghar and Sujya, here are a few reminders for our audience. We request that you all be on mute by default and you may ask a question by typing in the panel provided, or if you wish to speak to the speaker directly, then you may click on the raise hand button. You will be provided the audience access only when the question answer session will start at the end of this presentation. Please ensure to share the list of participants with us once the webinar is over. Over to you, Asghar and Sujya.
Alright, thank you, Abhinav, and good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
So Sujya and I welcome all of you to the first NEN webinar for the year 2015, and we have the pleasure to actually, Sujya and I are really privileged to interact with you. So we would have loved to actually see your faces and talk to you directly, but this is the next best thing that we can do, and the best thing about this is that we can reach a larger number of audience across the country. So welcome once again to the onboarding webinar of NEN for the year 2015. So today, the agenda for today is, what we are trying to cover today is basically understand which are the key skills that are required to succeed in today's world, be it the corporate world or otherwise, and we'll also learn a little bit about what is entrepreneurship. The reason why we have put that topic, what is entrepreneurship, though I am fully aware that each one of you know by definition what entrepreneurship is. So we'd like to bring in some newer perspectives of what entrepreneurship is really all about, other than, of course, starting businesses, right? Then we'd also like to cover the journey of a student on a campus, right from while he enters the college. Assuming that, by the way, that most of the students here who are attending the webinar are the new students that have come onto the campus, but I'm also sure that a lot of students who have been part of the NEN network, who have been running classes are also there, so that will be a refresher for them. And fourthly, we would share some of the examples, some stories from campuses from across the world. The reason why I say across the world now is because NEN, as you just heard from Abhinav, has expanded its operations beyond India to other Asian countries right now, and we are planning to expand into other countries, 15 more countries in the coming couple of years, right? And finally, we will talk about how NEN as an organization can help you, what are the key programs that we are going to offer to the students, and what are the immediate next steps. So this is the agenda for today, as you see on the screen. So without wasting any more time, let's quickly get into this. Before I start, I'd like to know, do you recognize these guys on the screen? There is Panindra Sama, who is the founder of Red Bus. Then there is Sachin Bansal, who is the co-founder of Flipkart. Then there is Bhavesh, who is founder of Ola Cabs, and Shashank ND, who is founder of Practo. In fact, Shashank ND is really very close to NEN because just a few years ago he was one of the leaders like some of you here running the Entrepreneurship Cell of NIT Surat. And today he runs a business which is I would say one of a kind. It's a platform network of doctors. Sujya would explain a little more about conversation today. Then we have Vitendra Goyal, who's member of Zomato. Now, what is common about these guys? I mean, all of us have heard who these guys are. We read about them day in, day out in the newspapers. We hear them on the news. It is about, it's largely about how they took that fuss and that risk and chased their dreams and they convert dreams into reality and started ventures that are changing, that are touching life, various thousands of lives across the country. Concerning people like you and me, I don't know about me, but yes, of course, like you, who have started these companies and are changing the society, right? The common things about these guys are they are risk-takers, they are visionary, of course, they are great innovators, right? We'll talk about why they are innovators, and then they are trendsetters. The reason why we have put this as one of the first slides here is so that just trying to make a connect here that you guys can do it, something definitely you also can do. These guys can actually change the world. They can come up with multi-billion dollar, also can do it because these people are also students like that. Let's understand what are the skills that are required to succeed in today's world. I'm sure your faculty, all the trainers that come onto your campus on a daily basis talk about these things to motivate you, to set you on the right path, to help you understand, other than academics, what else is required to act. Sisters, I would like to take a few minutes and kind of reiterate the fact that skills are really, really important for today's young generation, whether they want to be an entrepreneur or they want to succeed in their corporate life. So, first of all, let me start off with what Jack Welch, I'm sure Welch, the man who changed the turnaround. What Jack Welch says is, there are 4 things that are required for a person to be successful in today's world. He calls them as 4 E's wrapped in P. And the 4 E's he defines as energy, energize, edge, and execute, wrapped in passion. Now let me ask, let me say what does energy mean? Energy, as all of us know, having a lot of abundance of power, energy, being bubbly, being, have so much of enthusiasm in us, that is energy. It's very, very important to be enthusiastic in this world. There's no place for people who are like, laid back, or people who have kind of, have a very, lethargic attitude towards life. There's no place, unfortunately, for these kind of people, particularly in the young generation, right? Everybody should be energetic, right? And not only they need to be energetic, but they need to have the ability to energize people around them, right? If you want to be a successful entrepreneur, if you want to be a successful leader, you not only have to have loads of loads and loads of power, loads and loads of energy, but you also need to have the ability to energize people around you. People can connect with you and connect with what you are talking. And then the third key that he talks about is edge. Normally means having an advantage. However, what Jack Welch means here is the ability to say yes or no and not maybe. Well, friends, this is a very, very critical skill that we develop. Ability to say yes or no at the right time. Because we know from experience, a lot of us get into trouble because of not being able to say no at the right time, or just committing to everything and jumping at everything and saying yes at everything and not being able to deliver. So the skill of saying yes or no at the right time is the skill that he talks about. And finally, there is execute. Well, we all know how important execution is all about, because no matter efforts don't count these days. What counts is what is the result that you are going to give, all the efforts that you are going to do. So the result is extremely important. That is what execution is all about. So he goes ahead and says that all these E's are not complete, will not help you successful unless these E's are wrapped in something called passion. And what is passion, by the way? Passion is junoon, the jazba, which is the pagalpan, to succeed no matter what you are doing. That is a really, really important skill that is required in today's world. that we all keep hearing about every day. It's a very loaded term, I would say, which is leadership, right? Everybody wants to be a leader. Everybody finds leader in various their own ways. So I would like to quickly kind of share my perception about what leadership is. The reason why leadership is important is because no matter what you do, this is one quality in a person that is going to set you apart. Now, even in leadership, there are various stages of leadership that have been involved now. Right? There is refinement to leadership. We'll come to all that, but very importantly, the ability to lead, having the leadership quality is something really important. I know all of you would have heard this a million times, even before you came in. But as I said, let's take a minute to reiterate the importance of leadership, because this is the sustainable differentiator. This is one quality that is going to set you apart. So what is leadership, my friends? So leadership, is it about talent? Is it only about talent? Is it about intelligence alone? Or it is just about the charisma that person has? Or is it something else? I would say it's a mix of charisma, but also three very important intangibles, that is vision, passion, and drive. We spoke a lot about passion just now, right? What is vision? Vision is your ability to look beyond the immediate and the ordinary. The reason why I say immediate is ordinary is because normally the immediate is always ordinary, because it talks about your day-to-day requirements, about you finishing assignments, doing a particular thing, you kind of maybe, graduating immediate requirements. Because vision is beyond that, right? Vision is about the larger picture, where you want to be. Most of you, I don't know how many of you have faced interviews, but one day or the other, pretty soon you are going to face interviews. And one short question in the interview that you're going to get is, where do you see yourself 5 years or 10 years down the line? Tell me, why do you think this person is asking the question? Do you think he's really interested in where you're going to be after 5 years? Yeah. No, because he knows after 2 years you're going to be another company, right? 3 years, he very well knows that after 2, right? The reason why he's going to ask you this is the ability to act capability, right? So that is really, really important, right? And then of course passion, and then comes drive. What is drive? Drive is the persistent, the ability to actually stick on to something that you want to do, right? Stick on to your dreams, to kind of be wedded to what you want to do. That is the drive. So leadership to me is a mix of, a rare mix of vision, passion, and drive. Actually about creating a lasting competitive advantage. The reason why leadership, I would say, is a sustainable differentiator in today's world is because today's world is a highly commoditized world, where you can buy everything off the shelf, right? From the best of the talent, the best of the software, best of the technologies can be purchased off the shelf. However, one thing that nobody can buy is leadership qualities, which is why corporates spend, thousands of dollars, millions of rupees, actually training their employees to become leaders. That is the sustainable differentiator. So I would personally say leadership is a rare quality, though it's a very, I would say, loaded term these days, is a quality that is going to actually help you set apart from the rest of the people that are going to do the wrong ways, right? And finally, the most important skill in today's world, if you notice, I have not put soft skills, I have not put life skills, I have not put communication skills, we have put something called entrepreneurial skills. The reason is because soft skills, good communication skills, and the life skills are hygiene factors. It's not like you can use communication skills or not. I'm not talking about speaking good English, by the way. I'm talking about having good communication skills. Right? And having good soft skills, team skills and all that, these are hygiene factors in today's world. Right? And you are expected to know them, you are expected to develop them. However, what is everybody looking at in today's world, the corporate world also is entrepreneurial skills. Now let's spend some time to understand what these entrepreneurial skills are. Right? Now I would actually love to hear from, ideally would have loved to hear from you to understand what you think entrepreneurial skills are and what is entrepreneurship all about. Because of the limitation of this particular webinar, so let me kind of go ahead and tell you what are entrepreneurial skills that we're talking about here. And even before that, let's talk about what is entrepreneurship. The definition of entrepreneurship, as you all know, is about starting a business, about creating opportunities out of problems. Yeah, because a lot of companies, a lot of startups that are coming out because people who are leading these companies have identified some problems, some pressing problems that bother each and every one of us on a daily life, and they're coming up with solutions to solve these problems, through which they're creating companies that are generating thousands of jobs, right? So it's all about entrepreneurship, about creating opportunities out of problems. And entrepreneurship is not just about starting businesses, it's a mindset. The mindset is an attitude. The reason why we say it's an attitude is because it is about leadership. It is not only about business, it's about an attitude, right? So what are the traits of an entrepreneur? What are the skills of an entrepreneur, right? So you see the most common skill in entrepreneur, any entrepreneur that walks on your campus, any of your friends who have started ventures, first thing that you notice about them is they're extremely confident, right? They are in fact super confident. They are not overconfident, mind you. They're talking, they're confident about their ideas, right? Okay? So that is the first skill that in today's world that you need to develop, confidence, right? Then focus. These people are extremely focused on what they are doing, right? So that is another important trait of an entrepreneur. And thirdly, it is about the ability or the willingness to take risks. Now, this is easier said than done, my friends, I know, right? Because very few of us actually take this. However, it's an important thing if you notice that people who take risks, people who move out of the comfort zone are the ones who would be standing in the class, or who would be the leaders, who would be leading big programs on the campus, who would be who are breaking the norms. So the ability to take risks, moving out of the comfort zone is an extremely important trait of an entrepreneur. That's the skill that needs to develop, right? And then another important thing, everybody talks about out-of-the-box thinking. Everybody says, I'm sure in everybody's resume, in the skills that we had, all of us would have mentioned creativity as one of the skills. But we actually probe deeper and say, what is creativity? Not many of us know what creativity is all about, right? How do you become a creative thinker? Is it something that you can learn, or it's not a very important characteristic or skill that needs to be developed? And then, as I mentioned, pursuit. Right? And today's world, as all of you know, if you not lose the race, basically, right? So also included one day, this is the most important is to develop, because you're studying the ones who need to know, and entrepreneurs or to be leaders for that matter, of businesses. Now finally, just want to kind of touch on what are the advantages of being an entrepreneur or entrepreneurship. All of us know we want to build our own process. That's the biggest advantage that you have. You don't have to answer to anybody. So you can actually think on your own. You're independent, right? So that's the biggest advantage. Then there's a lot of other things that you can do other than the convenience requirement of yours, right? Being your own boss. You actually, as an entrepreneur, create better standards of living in the society. You bring better convenience to people, right? And then there's an enhanced satisfaction of what you are doing and what people around you are doing. Because if you are an entrepreneur and you start a venture and you start taking work, right? You will not only taking care of the 10 people that you're employed, but you're actually taking care of the families that are connected with these employees of yours, right? So that is the satisfaction, that's the gratification that comes in, right? And then there's absolute freedom to do what you want to do, right? Without your boss actually, breathing down your neck, right? So that freedom is there. And of course, you create a lot of wealth, you become rich, and you also make sure the society around you, the people around you also create wealth. Society basically creates wealth out of entrepreneurs. Finally, the most important thing that our country requires now, you as an entrepreneur will create jobs, and lots of jobs. And you can see, if you keep, I'm sure all of you read the newspapers and watch the news and all that, every year there are 12 million new people who are coming into the workforce in India. Right? These are young people like you who pass out of colleges. All amazingly skilled people and with amazing talent. However, there are not enough jobs for these people. And if all these people have to be employed, they need more and more jobs that have to be created. And where the job for enterprises, people like you starting enterprises, you can actually create jobs. So that is the biggest advantage. You will actually entrepreneurship to us is all about. It's not only about, do not actually confine this to the smallest of the definition, saying it's about starting a venture or a business. Of course, It is all about that, but it's more to it than just that. So going forward, let's quickly understand. So you as a student, you know the entrepreneurship cell there already, but let's also for the new student, let's help them understand what is the journey of a student on a campus. How is it going to actually come as just a student, and by the time he leaves college, actually start thinking about starting a venture, or probably would have already started a venture. Because through the discussion, Sujaya is going to share some examples of students who have already started ventures while they were on campus. Right? So let's take the life cycle of a student on the campus. Right? The student joins the campus, say in the first year, then he gets inspired about entrepreneurship. Hears people talk about being an entrepreneur, and they talk about various successes of their alumni, of their past students coming and sharing experiences. That you created this company, you have created so much wealth. All that is fine and good, right? So you get inspired. Then you want to dirty your own hands. You want to experience this on campus. So you go ahead and join an E-Cell. And E-Cell, for those of you who are not aware, those of you new to this, E-Cell is a club on the campus where students who are interested in entrepreneurship, students who are interested in developing leadership skills, come together to form a club, and they run various activities, competitions, and games to help them learn about entrepreneurship, right? And then there are some of you guys will actually start leading these E-Cells. These students are the E-leaders. They are the people, I would say, the cabinet of the E-Cell. There's the president, there's the secretary of the E-Cell, the plan activities, plan programs for the various students on the campus. Right? So as a student, if you get inspired about entrepreneurship, you get into E-Cell, you become an E-member, then you actually come up to lead E-Cells, you become E-leaders. That is how it goes, right? Finally, while you are actually working in the E-Cell, participating in various activities, the Eureka moment will happen. You say, no, why not? I should also be an entrepreneur. Let me also kind of provide an idea, right? You come into the category of one entrepreneur, right? That is, you have the desire to start something. You have some vague idea in your mind, but you really don't know if this idea is going to work or not. Sure, most of you sitting there in the classroom have this thought going on. Oh, I have this idea, but this works for me. I don't know, because nobody's validating or saying it's a bad idea. Because my idea is a good idea always, right? But still need to get validated. All these thoughts, who is going to give me the money to start this venture? Now, I have a great idea to change the world, right? Where the money going to come from? Right? So that is the stage that we call as an entrepreneur, where you're thinking what to do, right? Whether entrepreneurship is for me or not, right? Then finally, you get aligned with various programs, you undergo various training programs that Indian has to offer, that the college has to offer, and then finally you say, alright, okay, I think entrepreneurship is for me, so let me start a venture. So while you as a student, you start something on the campus, or you be a part of the campus company, then you call yourself a student entrepreneur. In fact, a lot of students we see these days, they're not only a part of the campus company programs on the campus, but they actually start their own ventures. I would say the campus is the best place to actually start a venture, right? The reason why I tell you that, because long ago I also did that. You don't have any risk or fear of failure there. But the college is going to protect you, faculty are going to protect you, right? And you are still a student, you have all the passion, the drive, and all that. The real world has actually not killed your creativity or scared the life out of you. So you can do anything while you're a student, right? That is the time when you actually need to start something, right? When you get to become a student entrepreneur. Some of the students who start ventures while they are still studying actually go ahead and continue to run that venture. Hear me, please type in there in the chat box. Okay, while it's being restored, right? So let me kind of, share a small story. One of my favorite stories, by the way, right? I'm sure some of you have already been part of this exercise, heard this. The reason why I keep sharing this story in every interaction that I have with students is because this is what entrepreneurial skills are all about. This is what things are about. The story goes like this. It is about a young man who goes from India to the USA looking for jobs. So apparently it has happened long back, because it is the other way around these days, right? People come to India looking for good opportunities, right? Whether it's startup opportunity or otherwise. So this young man from India goes to the US looking for a job. So he is kind of going from place to place, figuring out where he can work, and then he comes to a huge supermarket, and he enters the place, and he's thinking, this place is huge. I'm sure they will have a job for me, right? So he walks up to, he finds out who the manager is, he walks up to the manager and says, sir, I need a job. Can you please give me one. So this guy, the manager says, sorry, we do not have any vacancies and all that. But somehow our Indian friend convinces him and impresses upon him and saying that, to try him out. So the manager says, okay, I will give you a chance. I will give an opportunity for 1 day, right? So now you start, and end of the day I'm going to come to you and ask you how you have done. If you have done well, I'm going to keep you. Otherwise, I'm sorry, my friend. Okay? Now our Indian friend is extremely excited and is very grateful and profusely thanking the manager and says, thank you very much. And the manager then asks him, so what do you want to do? What experience do you have? So this friend of ours says that, back home in India, I was a salesman. I was selling something, right? So if you can put me into the sales department, I think you can do a good job. So this manager says, so be it. Okay, I put you into the sales department. He introduced to the team lead there and said, this new friend of ours is going to work for us for today, and let's see how it goes. Story begins and says that the man gets onto the floor, starts his work, and end of the day, the owner or the manager comes in and calls a friend and says, okay, tell me how many sales did you make? How did your day go? This guy is super excited and he says, boss, I did 1 sale. Boss is extremely surprised. 1 sale? Your colleagues, your teammates, they do more than 10, 15 sales a day, and they're not even half as excited you are. Just did 1 sale? I'm so sorry. This doesn't work. By the way, tell me, this guy gets very sad, makes a sad face and like that, and this guy, the manager asks him, okay, tell me, okay, what was the value of the sale? This guy says, $500,000, right? The boss is taken aback. He says, 1 sale and he's told something for $500,000? What is it, right? The story begins. This guy, our friend says, this gentleman walked into the store in the morning and I sold him a fishing hook, okay? And you know what a fishing hook is, right? When you go for fishing, you have the small hook which has a bait and then you go fish with it, right? I sold him a fishing hook and then I asked him, so where would you be going fishing? And this gentleman, customer says that probably down the creek. And then I asked him, so I was passing the creek today, I saw the water was very strong, do you have a boat? Right? And this customer says, no, I do not have a boat, I have a small dinghy. Then I took him to the boating department and sold him a new motorboat. And then I asked him, sir, how will you take this motorboat to the creek? Do you have a jeep or a truck? Then the customer said, no, I'm sorry, I drive a small car. Then I took him to the automobile department and I sold him a focus over the new truck that I started, right? And the boss was really impressed. And then I asked him, sir, you bought a truck, you bought a boat. Now, how many days are you planning to go for this fishing trip? Then this gentleman says, you know what, I actually don't have any plans. You made me buy all this. I think I'm going to go for a fortnight or so. Then immediately asked him, sir, do you have camping gear? Then the gentleman says, no, I don't, obviously. Then I took him to the camping department and sold him the new tent and all the camping gear with all the provisions and stuff, right? And the total value of the ceiling came to $500,000. The boss is super amazed. Okay? You sold all this to a guy who came looking for a fishing hook. You are an awesome chap. You're an awesome salesman. You know what a friend says? Oh, I'm sorry, sir. Actually, did not come in for a fishing hook. I came in saying that I need an aspirin because I've got a headache. And I told him that fishing will do for him. Right? So that's it, my dear friend. This is about how you can actually get out of the comfort zone, think out of the box. Because if you someone else, you can just go put in the aspirin and then say, look at another customer and say, how may I help you, right? But this gentleman of ours, went that extra mile, he ran that extra mile and said, what more I can do for this guy, right? How can I go be more creative? This is the entrepreneur skill that we're talking about. The ability to come out of a comfort zone, to think out of the box in all given circumstances. These are the kind of skills that we're talking about that each one of us should develop to be successful in today's world, right? So being a part of this entrepreneurship movement on the campus, the e-cell and all that, these are the skills that you're going to learn. Because we've seen people, students who are very reticent, very shy in their first years, and by the time they kind of participate in the e-cell and become e-leaders, these are the most, most forthcoming leaders on the campus. These are people who have the best of the oratory skills. And fortunately, you'll be amazed to know that these are people who are actually picked up by the company, the first to be picked up by the conference, come for placement, right? That's a different story that a lot of these people actually opt out of placement, say that I don't want to work, I'll start my own company. that is the journey of a student on a campus, from trying to understand his entrepreneurship journey to actually either starting a venture or becoming an entrepreneur. Now, I would request Sujia to actually share some of the stories of what she's seen and heard over the last so many years that she has been part of NEN. Sujia, over to you, please.
Yeah, thank you, Asghar. And in fact, I've been just sitting and listening to you and trying to get a feel of how all the newcomers who are coming on board must be feeling at the moment. It's been a great journey. I would say that the key thing to even understand why you are in this session is to unlock your potential. See, as a student, there are many areas that you may not understand that you have the potential for. And participating in these different entrepreneurship activities on your campus really sets that pace. Over the journey, over the last couple of years, Asghar and I have been on campuses. We have oriented, so many students, set up entrepreneurship cells and all of that. But I think the satisfaction, and I'm going to go back to the examples that was initially shown to you, the role models including Practo, Redbus, you have, Zomato, on and on, and so forth. I think one of the real good examples is Practo, because I happened to meet him as a student when he had just started out from the campus and in NIT Suratkal. He was at an event at Coimbatore, and what really struck me was the passion with which he acknowledged how campus activities in entrepreneurship had supported him. He spoke about, how being there, having on and off, done all these different activities on campus, bring in entrepreneurs, talk to them, interact, run ideas, sit with like-minded people, talk about how to get started, what are the different ideas, where are the opportunities, and so on and so forth. And that was one day when he was in one of these entrepreneurship activities that this whole thing struck him. Hey, I've been part of the Entrepreneurship Cell on campus, but what I really need to do is stop talking about it and get started. And that's how Practo was born. Now, if you see they're into, if you really want to book an appointment with a doctor and you don't know where to go, that's Practo. You get onto the system and they've come up with an app. They started off with a small team and then they expanded. Now, I remember in the last couple of years, they've grown over so many, they've created so many jobs, they have so many people on board. But what is interesting also is when they stepped out of campus, carried on that venture, and then realized that investors were interested in them, and they got funding. They got the second round of funding also for their venture. Now, the same thing. A student just goes out, wants to go home from BITS Pilani, wants to go home, is just not able to understand how to book his ticket, bus is not available, and then he realizes, my God, that's an opportunity. So, bang, a couple of students get together, that comes up as Redbus, and today everyone's talking about it. Incidentally, in Malaysia, when I was talking to an entrepreneur, he said his friend had actually visited India, and when he used the Redbus, app, he said, my God, why don't we do something like that in Malaysia? Because it's a great problem in Malaysia to book tickets. So that has resulted in, a young entrepreneur, a young startup in Malaysia who are now over 20, 30 jobs, created 20, 30 jobs about the same similar venture that they've started out there at Kuala Lumpur. So this is it. And where did it all start? Back on the campus. Now you've seen a great lot of examples out there. You see Ventec Solutions from Mumbai, from Atharva College. It's all about, renewable energy systems. You have the solar and wind energy that they've been talking about. I still remember this whole team coming up on stage during the Entrepreneurship Week in India, so excited about, winning a trophy because they were selected for the most innovative idea. You have CVT robotics who are into robotics training, MG automation technology. They're also into products such as 3D printers. It's an e-portal that's doing it. You see Hungry Hog Stack. Can you imagine engineering students who were thinking about aerospace engineering suddenly end up, selling food? So that's the opportunity. You may end up doing something completely different back on campus because you realize through the Entrepreneurship Cell platform that is available to you, you untap that potential, that mindset, that attitude that Asghar has been talking about. It can take you to places, one, because of the kind of network that is available to you, which again, he would be talking about in a short while from now, but also for the same reason that you understand how to work together in teams, you understand leadership skills, you understand even if I am not the kind, you dabble trying to figure out whether entrepreneurship is something that you would really like to take on in future. But even if you don't, Asghar spoke about the entrepreneurial skills that HR is talking about these days. Yes, everyone wants some employer, someone to contribute to the growth of an organization. Be it a large company, be it a small company. I'm actually sitting in the office of the startup. This is a big IT solutions company which has launched, a different branch now. They're into academy. They're actually setting up their office here. And, again, the whole team is brainstorming. They're figuring out stuff to do. And they are really trying to understand where do I get passionate, energetic, energized, hires, candidates for us. And that's where they reach out into the Entrepreneurship Cell, try to figure out who the students are on campus, be it freshers, be it experienced people. So entrepreneurial skills is important, folks. All you guys out there, get excited because this is the opportunity that maybe Asghar and I never had during our college days, but we were all grappling, with what we had to do. But today you have a platform, you have the buzz on campus, you have faculty, you have, so much of potential, online potential that the foundation is building up. So I would request each one of you to participate in these activities, organize, try to figure out, what is in it for me? What am I good at, really? Is it something that I am I would like to lead, or is it something that I would like to contribute as a team member? So as you mingle together from students within your campus and outside of your campus, across cities, across countries, you will come to unlock the potential of yours, and entrepreneurship is the way to go. Over to you, Asghar.
Yeah, so right. Thanks, Vijaya. So, some of these stories actually it's all about if a Nagar Darshan can start a food joint in engineers and they're running a pretty successful venture with various branches of Sure. And we also, Vijaya, if you remember, Jay from NIE, Mysore, right? He's an engineer who got picked up by one of the best companies, technology companies, and today, he runs the company for travelers, basically, right? He takes people on tours, right? And such a creative thing he's come up with, various kind of tours for team-based tours and all that, right? These are some of, creative things that are coming out in people like you there, right? So it's not, they don't confine yourself. Sorry, Sarah?
I just wanted to add on about Hungry Hog. See, one of the things that happens on the campus is when you're experimenting within the comfort zone of the campus, because you have, you feel secure. You have people around you, talking to you, interacting with you. You have mentors there. You have entrepreneurs coming in and interacting with you. Now, Hungry Hogs, when they actually thought of aerospace engineering and stuff like that, they worked out the business plan. They just could not afford the capital. the investment. They just could not afford it. So the way to go was to, hey, what can we do, immediately? And all of them loved food, so they got onto the food business, and they just grew from there. So now maybe someday we would go back to that idea of, what they wanted to actually develop, because they're making money out of this, the revenue, or whatever. We never know. So you can start off with one thing, you can sell it out, you can be a serial entrepreneur, there are many things that can, take on from there. I just wanted to add.
Yeah, thanks, Vidya. And then you know about Sonali Gaddam, right? Who was part of the MCC cell and who was running the campus company on cell. She was in charge of the HR there, right? Meeting and all that. And you know what venture she runs? She's an entrepreneur and she runs a HR consultancy today, right? And she's employed so many people. She's doing a phenomenal job. And where does this learning come from? The learning came from her experience on the campus, being part of the campus company, putting teams together, right? So she's learning from the campus. Whether you want to start a venture tomorrow, whether you want to be an entrepreneur or not, my friends here, I'll tell you, putting that on your CV, saying that you are part of a campus company, with the director of a company there, you're head of sales and marketing, that is going to take your profile amazingly different levels. It's going to kind of, open the, the trigger for you there when you sit for those interviews. Because you've seen that when interviewers start talking to our e-leaders, first thing when they see that they're part of an e-cell, they're part of the Indian community, the entire interview revolves around, okay, what was your role, what is the NEN, what is the e-cell, and what were you doing in college in entrepreneurship and all that, right? That is the selling platform that you are going to get for yourself, right? That is the important thing, the biggest advantage, right? Because I'm repeating this once again, not everybody, not all of you there sitting in the classroom who don't be an entrepreneur. I know some of you are really excited to start ventures, we will help you in that. But there are lots of people out there who don't want to start ventures but want to be successful in whatever they do and build the skills. These are the right platforms, the right trainings that you have to be part of all of those skills. Who knows? Because tomorrow, after 2 years working in a corporate, you might decide that you want to be a boss. But the eureka moment might happen, and you might get a great idea, and you want to start a company. And that is what normally happens. After working for 2 or 3 years, you figure out that you're better than most of the people in the company, and then you just want out, right? And most of the impact ones go ahead and start a company and change the world, right? You might be one of them. These people can do it. You are sure that you also can do it, right? So let's kind of talk about how NEN can help you in doing this, right? So a brief about NEN for those of you who have come in late, for those of you who are new to this. NEN is Asia's largest community of young entrepreneurs with more than 70,000 student members, and we reach to over 700,000 young people every year, right? Through all various programs, activities, and initiatives. So NEN is a not-for-profit initiative of the Wadhwani Foundation. It's founded by Dr. Ramesh Wadhwani, who is a serial entrepreneur himself. And the whole objective of this organization is to accelerate economic development in emerging economies through entrepreneurship, because through entrepreneurship is creating jobs. That is the whole thing, about creating jobs in India. That is the vision of our organization. And towards this, we have been working with academic institutes like yours for the last 12 years. We have had around more than 700 campuses part of the Indian network, and lakhs and lakhs of students like you who have undergone various training programs and have either started their own ventures or are working in startup companies or doing great for themselves in the corporate world, right? So this is what NEN is all about, and there are a lot of things that NEN is going to offer you as a student, as a wannabe entrepreneur, as a student entrepreneur. Okay? Before I tell you what NEN is going to offer you, let me kind of step back and take you about what NEN model was till very recently. The NEN model revolved around capacity development of the faculty and the campus as a whole, right? Because our goal was to develop faculty and to entrepreneur educators so that they can kind of train new students on the campus in entrepreneurship, mentor you, guide you to start ventures, to become better employable also. So that continues to happen. We continue to work with faculty, training them in world-class entrepreneurship education, helping them build programs on the campus. While that continues, what we have also done this year is we have kind of come up with various, lots and lots of programs for students directly, program directly run by NEN, right? So that change has come in because we are leveraging the amazing thing of technology to reach out to each one of you across the country and across the world, in fact, because as I said, we are going into various geographies now, right? And as some of you may already know, NEN has signed up a recent partnership with the Ministry of Skill and Development and Entrepreneurship, Government of India, to take entrepreneurship education to 5,000 colleges across the country. Right? So this is getting bigger and bigger, and you are an important part of this. Right? So what does NEN have to offer? How can NEN help you? Right? So these are some of the programs that we have laid out on the screen we are going to offer for you this year. Right? There's a lot of experiential learning programs that we are going to give you in terms of the campus company experience, in terms of working with startups, interning with startups while you are a student, because you are not an entrepreneur until you are an entrepreneur. The next best thing that you can do, other than being an entrepreneur yourself, is actually be a part of the campus company, start your own company on the campus, or work in a startup company, right? Those experiences are what we are going to provide to you. Then there are a lot of online courses that we are going to offer to train you from, how to ideate, how to evaluate opportunities, how to build your business plans, business model, how to actually, if you want to start a restaurant, so what are the things that goes into getting a restaurant up and running, right? What are the kind of licenses? So various elements or various nuances of entrepreneurship that we are going to cover in the courses that we are going to offer for you, right? And the best news is these courses are going to be offered to you online, so you can learn at your ease and at your comfort and at your flexibility, your convenience, basically. And these programs will be facilitated by your faculty on your campus, and we are also going to train, right? And so this is basically going to be part of your curriculum of the campus, right? And secondly, we also provide a lot of opportunities for you to interact with the industry, with the entrepreneur community, with experts and mentors. For some of you have already got some ideas. I'm not sure whether this idea is going to work, whether you have to start now or you have to start after a year or start after 5 years. And you need mentors, right? This is the support that you require at this point in time. While faculty plays that role to a large extent, they're also going to connect you to the experts or mentors from the industry, right? In addition to that, we are going to run various boot camps, various workshops, where rigorous sessions on, how to kind of flesh out your ideas, how to bring in domain expertise, domain knowledge to your ventures, to experts. All this will be done. And then there is the huge thing called E3 that we are going to launch this year. E3 is a national event. It's the mother of all entrepreneurship events that's going to happen in the country. Here, as some of you know, we are running the EE, then we are running the first dot, where it's the startup showcase for all student entrepreneurs, then various other competition that NEN was running. Now, this year onwards, we are running all these programs in different versions, in different editions, under the banner of E3 as one single event. This is great and exciting, that we are all really excited about this. This is going to be a mega event that is going to be celebrated across the country. And you know what? You are going to play a very, very important role in this. Your institute is going to play an extremely important role in this, right? Now, apart from this and various skill development activities, like as we keep running or have been running over the years, one of the other new things that we have done this year, which is really very exciting, and we have already run a pilot with some of the colleges, and some of you might also be participating in that, is a Smart E Challenge. This is the first ever apprentice challenge that is being run in India. Now, this is on the lines of this apprentice program that some of you might be aware that comes from that used to come the Donald Trump's apprentice program, right? So, a very similar program. Basically, it teaches you about entrepreneurship in an experiential mode, in a practical mode. As I said, if you're not an entrepreneur, you're an entrepreneur. You might undergo various courses, you might undergo various workshops, boot camps, and all that. But however, the real sense of being a leader, being an entrepreneur will come when you actually go into the field and get your hands. This program, in the form of a challenge, in the form of a game, that we are going to run throughout the year. Every 2 months we are going to run a different edition of the Smart E Challenge. The first one is going to come in August, which my colleague Adesha and Abhinav are going to give some details to mails and all that going forward, right? So that is the most exciting experiential program that we are going to launch. And a little more about this program is, to this program, we are going to bring in various corporate partners, various startups, on whose for whose problems you'll be working on. You'll actually call it the problem in a form of a competition. So you will get an opportunity to interact with this experts or mentors from these corporates. They will be taking sessions for you, they will be mentoring you throughout this particular program. This is the first ever experiential program for Encounter Challenge that's being run for all entrepreneurs in the country. It is not limited to the students. Anybody who wants to start, any person who wants to start a venture is for them, right? So please be, stay tuned. I would say, stay tuned for this program that is going to be launched very soon now. Okay. As I mentioned, we launched the Smart E pilot in May, and there's a lot of excitement. We actually opened this to only a few colleges across a few cities. We partnered with this publishing house called Westland Publishers, and they're well-known as a Tata Group company, basically. Now, I'm sure most of you have heard about Rashmi Bansal, the young, dynamic author who has written many books, and one of them being Arise and Awake. Now, our students actually in a form of a competition launched and sold this book across the country, across the cities that we have chosen to pilot this, right? 32 teams actually participated from 5 cities, and they sold 2,000 plus books just a week's time. And it's not about the number of books we sold and the kind of prizes they won. Though they're all exciting, it's not just about that. It's about the enthusiasm and the excitement these people develop, the students develop, working through the weekend, through Saturdays and Sundays and evenings, going out, meeting customers, trying to talk to people, convincing them. Guys, one thing, I think I will share this story once again. I'm sure a lot of students from Bishop Cotton are here today, one of the colleges here in Bangalore. I remember this long back when I was working as a consultant, Indian consultant for this college, and they used to run this bazaar, like every week or every fortnight they used to run this bazaar. And there was one student who used to always put up this pani puri or the golgappa stall, right? And one of the teachers was not a part of this entrepreneurship thing. And this is right in the beginning when we introduced entrepreneurship in the Bishop Cotton campus. So this teacher comes along and asks this girl, "For selling pani puri, is that what your father sent you to college to learn? Are you going to become a pani puri seller?" He was really upset about these students doing these kind of activities on campus, right? And I was so amazed and stunned by what this little girl said, She said, "Ma'am, it's not about selling pani puri. The thing that I'm learning here, I'm learning the competition because there's so many other vendors here. There's a canteen out there on the campus. There's so many of my friends who have put up food stalls there, right? I'm learning how to do the competition. I'm learning about pricing. I'm learning about discounting. Most importantly, I'm learning how to talk to people, how to convince people." No course teaches us this, guys. I'm sure all of you know that no course teaches us how to actually talk to customers, how to convince people. This experience of you doing this on campus, right? That is what is going to be happening, right? So this is what we saw even this Smarty Challenge, the excitement and the learning the students got, right? And of course, there can be one winner, and we have Acropolis Group of Institutions in Indore, who is one of our very well-known colleges in the network, going at the prize, right? So very soon, in the month of August, we are going to launch the first edition of the Smarty Challenge. Stay tuned for the more details. So thank you, my dear friends, for giving us opportunity to kind of, talk to you and bring you on to welcome you to the NEN community. Now, the immediate next steps, I'd like and I quickly want to kind of get out what's going to happen next. So first of all, for those students or those campuses who have joined in the Indian network this year, who have not started the e-sales, please go ahead and launch your e-sales. We have just sent out through courier some booklets for the new institutes talking about how a e-sale has to start and what the functioning and all that. Please go through that, and please also reach out to us for support on how to start an e-sale. We'll be more than happy to help you with that, right? So please go ahead and start e-sales. Those of the students who are already just joined new and already e-sales are existing in the campus, please go join your e-sales, and not only join the e-sales, be active participants in this. Because believe me, my friends, this is going to take you a long way. Whether you want to start a venture or not, it's definitely going to add huge advantage to your profile, right? So go ahead and join, be an active member on e-sale. Then, most importantly, please register yourself with NEN. Go to the link that we have given on the website and sign up that NEN student membership form there, and please submit your details. As soon as you register, become officially become a part of the NEN network, and you will be receiving various communication, various offerings, training programs, and all that information in this program, right? And we are, as I mentioned, going to run a full-fledged orientation program in the month of August, where all the students are once again going to be invited to attend the orientation program. Orientation would be on entrepreneurship, of course, and of course it will also be on how to run e-sales, what happens next, what kind of programs you need to run on the campus, what kind of learning that you need to expect, all those things will be covered in the orientation programs. And then we are going to release the various training programs for the year, the calendar of which is also going to be shared shortly with your faculty. And there are various programs. Largely, as I mentioned, this year the focus primarily is on students, kind of training more and more students in more and more better programs, right? And in addition to what your college, what your faculty is going to give, NEN is going to run various programs for you, courses and experience programs, so that you can get a holistic learning, right? So we are going to share those programs with you in August. We are going to run the first exclusive webinar on 5 things I wish I knew before starting up. Oh my God, I wish somebody had told me this when I started work long back. Yeah? If somebody had told me what this was all about, maybe I would still be running a company. Yeah?
I think so. So welcome to the National Entrepreneurship Network, and it's been a pleasure interacting with all of you. One of the things that I would just like to end up with is, as a student, just don't look at what you're going to be doing on the campus. We would want you to look at an overall perspective of where the network is today and where it is heading. When you think global, when you think of what you're doing in your country, can you beat it? What you do in your particular campus is going to impact the wealth creation and the creation of jobs in India. So just don't think that you are responsible not only for, doing something great from your campus, trying to figure out what your own potential is, but as you move forward, whether you're going to be entrepreneurial in an organization or whether you're going to start a venture and employ many people and create jobs, hey, you're contributing to the economy of India. And each one of you out here is not here by accident. You're here because you're interested and you would love to be part of the platform. So welcome, and this is the way to go. Just go ahead. Thanks, Asghar.
Yep. Yeah. All right. Thank you, Sujia. And let's have some questions now. Abhinav, over to you.
Thank you, Asghar and Sujia. It has been very, very encouraging and nice to hear those stories and inspirational stuff. There are 2-3 hands up. There are people who want to ask something. I'll put one by one to ask them about their questions. So I'm unmuting Mr. Kamal Kannan R. Please ask your question. Mr. Kamal Kannan R.
Okay.
Mr. Kamal Kannan, can you hear us? Okay, I think there is a connectivity issue with him. There is one Mr. Yagandeep Gohil. I'm unmuting him. Mr. Yagandeep.
Yes, actually I am in talk with YPS Commerce, triple license actually in June they had requirement for this summer internships. Actually in May, they talked in May. I don't know whether they took some more, I'm not sure. But they definitely had
Mr. Yagandeep, your voice is not very clear. Can you keep your mic nearby?
It's not about idea of it. Just have some background behind game development or anything.
Mr. Yagandeep, can you hear us? Okay, there was some disconnectivity from there. I am just moving on to Mr. Sandeepan Chakraborty. I'll unmute him. He will be asking his question. Mr. Sandeepan?
Yes. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, it's very good. Please go ahead.
Okay. So, good afternoon. My name is Sandeepan, and I'm actually the president of Entrepreneurship Cell in Tokyo Business School. And I would like to ask a question to both Sujaya ma'am and Asghar sir, that being a startup, the Entrepreneurship Cell in our college are actually facing certain difficulties in the demand generation. So this is something which I'm actively working on, but potentially I would like to take your inputs as well, sir and ma'am, that how do I create a demand of a particular product or any idea which I potentially believe can actually do good in the market. So that is my question, like how do I go ahead with the demand generation?
Okay. Sujay, you shall I go ahead?
Yes, you go ahead. I'll add on, Asghar.
Sure. All right. Thank you. So I'm sorry, I didn't get your name. Could you please repeat your name?
Yes, my name is Sandeepan Chakravarti.
Okay, Sandeep, if I heard your question right, you are asking like how do you create a demand for a particular idea on your campus? Is it about a particular product or you're talking about the idea of an e-cell on the campus?
No, it's
Is
actually
it the idea of an e-cell on the campus or it's about an idea of a product?
Idea of a product. Of a product.
Alright. Okay. Alright. So let me kind of share some thought on this, my personal thought on this, right? As I was mentioning earlier in the beginning of this conversation discussion about the vision, right? So one of the key things a leader's responsibility is not only to kind of have a great vision, but inspire people around him to actually relate to the grand vision of his, right? Now in your case, then you become actually a true leader when you get people around excited about your idea, get excited about your products and your vision, right? That is one of the traits that we need, skills that we need to develop. Having said that about the skill part that I'm sure that you are going to work on and develop, now as far as the product is concerned, I think we should really talk about what this product is all about. We should really know what this product you're trying to sell, and maybe we can take this discussion offline and we can figure out what is the product you're trying to sell, how we can help you create the demand on the campus, right? But overall, I would say that create that passion and the vision about what you are talking about, your idea is all about. Create that need among people that without an idea it's very difficult for them to kind of survive there, right? Then it becomes easier for you to sell. But I would say it makes more sense to understand what product you are selling to help give you proper insights on how to go about it. Sujaya?
Yes, I think what Asghar said is fine. It's just that, how do you go about creating the awareness of receiving feedback on your product? Is this a great idea? How do I go about it? Who are you talking to? How are you trying to connect to team or your colleagues or batchmates from other areas to bring them together and have an open discussion about what the idea is all about? Is this going to be a great thing? If it does not work on your campus, just don't stop there. One of the things that another student did was go off campus, talk to ECEL students from other campuses, bring them together, and hey, it's a network. It's just not about creating a demand within a certain boundary. But if it doesn't work, then just go ahead and expand your boundaries and reach out. There's a whole wide network out there. But again, like Asghar said, we can take the discussion offline and try to help you figure out, what your product or idea is all about.
Thank you very much.
Right. Thanks a lot.
Because be very realistic about what the customers want. Be very realistic about what your customer wants. Don't sell products that your customer might not want, right? So understanding your customer, getting feedback as is extremely important, right? Know what your customer needs and deliver that, and I'm sure you're going to do a good job.
Thank you, Sujaya and Asghar sir. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Sandeepan. It was really a great question. Considering the time constraint now, we would request all the other participants to email their questionnaires and we will respond back over the mail. Once again, thanks Asghar and Sujaya. It's been really encouraging and motivating discussion here. And I thank all the participants also for their time and participation in this webinar. We are glad that the questions kept coming in, but due to lack of time, we are unable to answer all of them. We assure that once you will mail us, we will surely respond back over your mails and answer your questions. Please do send in your feedback and suggestions with list of participants to us at abhinav.jain@nenglobal.org. I repeat, that is abhinav.jain@nenglobal.org. Also, if you found the session interesting, feel free to blog about it or post about it over the Facebook. Be in touch with us over the Facebook and be our social community network participants also. The recorded version of this webinar will be very soon available at youtube.com, and you will see that you have a chance to interact with us again and again in upcoming months. We will share the details of our next webinar very soon over the mail, and we finally thank you all once again to participate and share your time with us. Have a nice day. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And wish you all the best.
Thank you very much, guys. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Look forward to interacting with you.